Hello. Or, no, I need to put on my Batman voice. I'm sorry. Hello. As you know, nothing can rile me up more than superhero movies. They just really tick me off. So, I figured I'd do a review like every other movie. This voice is gonna really destroy my throat. Wow, I don't think I can do that the whole review. If you can't see anything, that's perfect because you can't see anything during the Batman movie. So I'm putting about as much effort into this as they did making that movie. This movie isn't great. It's also not bad. It's just okay. I don't know why everyone's throwing around 10 out of 10, the best Batman movie since The Dark Knight. It's the second best Batman movie, The Dark Knight being the only one that's better than it, because it's really not. It's really flawed, like, very obviously so. I feel like I'm going insane whenever a new superhero movie comes out, and it's very clearly flawed in a versatile amount of ways, and I feel like I'm the only one noticing it when I'm watching it, and then I finish watching it and I talk to all the people around me and they notice it too. But then when you check online and check with other people outside of your theater, it seems like they're all cast under the spell of, oh, it's a superhero movie, so 11 out of 10. Like, it's cream of the crops. I creamed my pants. It was amazing, they all say. And it's not good. I'm sorry. And it just really makes me angry because these movies are not good and they make all of the money. And then the actually good movies make no money. So then none of those movies get made and all of these movies get made. And you see the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So I saw this one thinking that was going to be something different because I'm feeling like giving up with the superhero genre. And I heard this one like isn't a superhero movie. It's like a noir film where it does detective stuff. That was what I was sold on. And yes, it does do some of that, but it mostly is a superhero movie. There isn't much detective stuff, sadly. And that really aggravated me. The performances and the tone and everything is just all across the board, like, just inconsistent. Like, there's some really good performances, like Andy Serkis, uh, Colin Farrell, uh, John Turturro, and even Robert Pattinson. Uh, but then there's some not so good performances, which shocked me because Paul Dano is great in everything. Like, There Will Be Blood, Prisoners, Love and Mercy. There's so many great movies where he turns in, like, standout performances from the rest of the cast. He was one of the main reasons to get excited because there's no reason why he shouldn't be the best part of this movie. And yet, shockingly, he's the part of this movie that ruins it. He's like the worst part of the ensemble. He goes so over the top goofy, and the movie is pretending it's still being gritty while it's being unintentionally hilarious, and it's just bad. It tonally like can't make up its mind. It knows it wants to be gritty, but it fails to be gritty. It fails to be scary. It just kind of fails at everything. Like, the only time that it's good is when it's doing detective stuff, but it doesn't have enough of that to satisfy me. It's three, and yeah, at the same time it's 3 hours long. It's too long. Uh and like it's and I like that slow, but at times it got boring. There were a couple of threads that felt like they went nowhere. It felt like it needed to be tightened up a little bit. I think the main thing is it feels like they crushed two movies together, so it's a little overstuffed. And they're kind of just bouncing between the plot lines. It might be better on a second viewing, and maybe not being in a theater, and maybe me eating before would have been a better idea. I don't know. All this I could take into account. It's not a terrible movie, but when it's just okay, just barely, when it's above mediocre, and that's where I rank it, and everyone's saying that's literally flawless, I can't wrap my mind around it because it's not even like a great Batman movie. It's not even like, it's one of the weaker Batman movies I've seen. Of course, it's better than Batman, Robin, and Batman Forever. You can't make a movie as bad as either of those. But, like, out of the rest of them, I'd say it's the next weakest before you reach those two. And it feels a lot like Batman Forever, not just because the Riddler's in it, but also because it does a lot of goofy things. And I know a lot of other people have been comparing it to Batman Forever too because it's quote unquote really sexy, which I don't know why people keep saying that, other than there's a lot of leather in the movie, a lot of homemade costumes, which it's like, okay, whatever. Uh, the movie just like is, I don't know. It doesn't have a distinct original like style. It feels like it's lacking like a vision, and it just feels like it's copycatting what everyone else is doing. Uh every time I think about it, I get more angry and more wanting to just lower my score out of 10 because it just feels like a generic what everyone else is doing following that. Like, at first, I was like, okay, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. And then I was like, getting into the movie, like, I was like, okay, now I'm getting into it, so I might be giving it like a 9 out of 10. That was the highest I ever reached. Then I started dropping back down again, and I was like, okay, 8.75. And then I was like, okay, 8.5. And I was like, okay, 8 out of 10. And then throughout the rest of the film, I was still at an 8 out of 10. Then as I got close to the end of the movie, I was like, oh no, I think that was like a 7. And now I don't know where I'm at because I lost track of how I feel about the film because I had so many highs and lows that I feel like I can't quite gauge what I'd give that out of 10 because I'm so frustrated with what it was and what it could have been. And I don't know how to grade that. Uh, yeah, I'm really frustrated. It could have been so good. It's one of those movies where the trailers is really good and the movie just fails to deliver on that. And it gets nowhere near close to as good as everyone says it is. And I'm just gonna be angry the rest of today. It's exactly how I felt when I saw Endgame. It's that kind of like just bottled rage where you sat in a theater for so long and got nothing out of it. And you just know that the next day you're going to forget everything that happened in it. And you're not going to ever see the movie again, or at least not see it in years. I still have not rewatched Endgame, by the way. I've been like that upset with it. It's just deteriorated in both quality and in mind. It's just, ugh. Just take it away from me.